how qSEAp was incepted and what was the reason and founding principle that time and how you're growing and what qSEAp stands for today.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So we started qSEAp 14 years back, and I believe there are two type of people who start a company. One, those who are brilliant. They are clear about their roadmap. They know what they want to do. They are the top rankers, graduates from IIT and IIM. And then there are people like us, who have above average, who are above average, and they have a good aptitude, but they are not book smart. You can call them street smart. So
that's a good word.
So we were like very naive to understand.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the GB show. If you are someone who is looking forward to make career in cybersecurity, or you want to found a company in cybersecurity industry, if you are a cybersecurity practitioner working in VAPT, red teaming, or as a cybersecurity consultant, this episode is for you. Today I have an amazing guest, Praveen Singh, who is CTO at qSEAp Infotech Private Limited. He has around 18 years of experience in red teaming, VAPT, and overall cybersecurity consulting services, and have served many banks, and qSEAp is today the leading company who has penetrated in all banks, almost all banks in India, and they are doing amazing job in Middle East and Asia as well. Let's hear him out. Hi Praveen, welcome to the GB show.
Thank you so much, Gaurav.
So there I durustai.
Yes.
Okay, and for my audience, I met Praveen back in 2016 when Sunil and Praveen were working on qSEAp, and I was talking about the inception of CyberFrat, right? That time the qSEAp vision was totally different. You were talking about the VAPT and cybersecurity services, and now you are more into red teaming, compliance, and attack simulation, and a lot more things, right? So maybe for my audience, let's start with that, how qSEAp was incepted and what was the reason and founding principle that time and how you're growing and what qSEAp stands for today.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So we started qSEAp 14 years back, and I believe there are two type of people who start a company. One, those who are brilliant. They are clear about their roadmap. They know what they want to do. They are the top rankers, graduates from IIT and IIM. And then there are people like us, who have above average, who are above average, and they have a good aptitude, but they are not book smart. You can call them street smart. So
that's a good word.
So we were like very naive to understand the challenges. We were among the people who jumped into the ocean without understanding the depth of it. And later on, along the journey, we continuously evolved ourselves to the challenges of the market and segment. So 14 years back when we started, we were 8 to 9 friends, and we thought we will start a product company which was not into cybersecurity.
Okay.
But me and Sunil, we started our job as a cybersecurity consultant. So we were from the background, but we wanted to create something which was not from this domain. We invested around 4 to 5 years, and that product didn't do well. The 8 to 9 friends, we also fought among each other, and everybody got back to their jobs. And me and Sunil, we thought let's let's focus on cybersecurity as a venture now. So initial 2-3 years, we were trying to figure out how to project VAPT, how to get customers with a small segment of VAPT services. And the only thing which we did right was that we continued making some money so that we can sustain and we don't have to go back to our jobs. Okay. So that was the best thing which we did. So to make some money, we took freelancing assignments. We took trainings in colleges, one-day workshops. We used to get around 20,000-25,000 rupees a day. And we were able to manage at least 2 workshops in a month. So that is how we continued surviving for initial 2-3 years. In 2014, then we thought, let's start consulting as a full-fledged business. But at the same time, we had a challenge that none of the customers were willing to work with a smaller player like us. Customers having 1,000, 2,000 assets with 100 applications, why would they engage a partner like us who has absolutely no experience? So what we realized is that we have to solve some kind of market problem in order to establish a company. So what we did was, initially we figured out that most of the consulting firms, cybersecurity consulting firms, the leading consulting firms, they had shortage of resources. and the type of people they were getting from training companies were not good. So the point is that if you want to train somebody in cybersecurity, you have to ensure that the person has basic aptitude so that he or she can learn the concepts. At the same time, there has to be some level of inclination of that person towards the technology. Otherwise, it's a waste of time for the person as well as for you. So we thought this is the market problem which we want to address. Basically, we thought we will supply cybersecurity manpower or pen testers to the existing consulting firms, and rather than directly approaching the end customers who were not trusting us, these consulting firms were very aggressive. They always wanted resources. They always had shortage of resources. So, and at the same time, we didn't wanted to start a training company. So we started onboarding people. We filtered those people based on their aptitude and inclination towards the technology. We took them on our payroll and we created a training model of 2 to 3 months initially. Then once those guys are skilled enough, we started supplying it to the consulting firms. So that is how we initially started making money and the cash flow started coming in. So initial 2-3 years, we thought we will not stop until we are a team of 100 consultants. So once we reach 100 consultants, I guess it was 2017 or 18, we reached a team strength of 100 consultants. And our business was purely to supply manpower to the existing consulting companies. And there were some small customers also who used to engage us for their services, but that was not that prevalent, or it was not a big chunk of our business. So after that, we thought after reaching 100 consultants, then we thought we have to pivot now. We have to pivot and emerge as a proper cybersecurity consulting company. Then again, there was a challenge. When we approached the market, when we approached the customers, we had absolutely no experience, and the customers knew us as a resource provider or a manpower company. So we thought we have to create, or we have to establish our technical competence in front of the customer. Then only they will trust us with their data. So that is when we thought we did our research, and 2017-18, I guess red teaming was a booming concept that time. Attack simulations and red teaming. So I'll just tell you that how red teaming is different from VAPT and why it's important for the CISOs to basically look into these red teaming and attack simulation services. So for example, if I see a CISO has to take care of many things. The first thing is they have to manage all the vulnerabilities in their organization. For example, a mid-size or large segment customers, they have thousands of vulnerabilities in their organization, which are categorized into critical, high, medium, low, based on the CVSS rating, right? Yeah. So that is how they look at the vulnerabilities. From compliance point of view, they have to do some certifications. They have to adhere to the regulatory compliances as well. Then they have to take care of the attack surface management, internal and external. Then there are log monitoring and incident monitoring. That is one part they have to do. So most of their bandwidth is getting consumed in these things. And the attackers are taking a different route, or you can say the attackers are taking a different path altogether to reach their crown jewels. And they're not able to get that visibility at all, because if you see a vulnerability, isolated vulnerability, it is very difficult to visualize or to understand how an attacker can use this vulnerability to come inside the organization and reach the crown jewels, right? Yeah. But when you do red teaming, so red teaming is all about identifying vulnerabilities in the various layers of an organization, chaining all those vulnerabilities and creating a path so that a person from outside or inside can actually reach the crown jewels. When I say crown jewels, we are talking about the most critical data or information of a customer, right? So this visualization, so for example, if you see in the attack path, there are 5 or 6 or 8 vulnerabilities which we have changed. If you see these vulnerabilities individually, their CVSS rating is very low. So a customer or a CISO who is looking at these vulnerabilities isolated, they're not even thinking about these vulnerabilities or addressing these vulnerabilities, right? But when they see these things in a track chain, that is when they actually understand where to focus. So this is how you should actually prioritize. While CVSS and CVE ratings are good, that has to be taken care of, but at the same time, the real vulnerabilities on which people have to focus, that visibility comes from red teaming and attack simulations.
Okay, that brings the change in the qSEAp.
So lot of things are there. So for example, now we were a manpower company, right? We had no talent. I mean, we had talent, but
not internal ones.
Yeah, so you need different breed of people to conduct such attack simulations and red teaming exercises. As a company also, we had to shift our mindset from a regular VAPT or a manpower company to a attack simulation or red teaming or high-end technical services company, right? So that was a little challenging for us. So what we did is that the first thing is that we had to identify the good or brilliant people in an organization. So what we did, we created a platform, we created some challenges, and we enforced all our people to undergo those challenges. Those who scored very good in that, these people were onboarded into a different team, which we called as COE, Center of Excellence. So people who were technically very good in our organization became a part of COE. After that, we were also focusing on people who are emotionally attached to our company. So because these are the people who will go with you for a longer run. So having a technical competence is one part. Second part is that having emotional inclination or attachment towards the company. So that is how we created a COE. Then after creating a COE, the second challenge was to get a customer, right? Why would a customer start giving you red teaming engagements? So I still remember the first banking customer which we got. So I guess you only referred us to those companies.
I referred to many.
Yeah. So the first banking customer for red teaming which we got it on a condition that if we are not able to, so red teaming is an objective based assessment. You create an objective. For example, a customer can say that I want you to perform a ransomware simulation in my organization from outside. I'll not give you any access. I'll not tell you anything about my organization, right? So that challenge, so in the first engagement, we got some challenge which was very difficult to execute, but we signed the contract with the customer with the condition that if you're not able to meet that challenge, we will not take 50% payment. And once we got the first engagement, these guys were like, I told you about COE. So these guys were hungry and they were technically very passionate. So we put this challenge in front of them and then they created this service line entirely.
Okay.
So as a founder, my only thing is now to provide all the assistance to this team. Now we have a 35 member, you can say 35 member team in our COE.
Okay.
35 people are there in COE now. And we have around 250 to 300 consultants. Once you are able to establish your technical competence in front of a company, then it is very easy to do business with them. So you name any large banking customer of India, we have done red teaming for them. Okay. So that is how we were able to penetrate the market. See, in a nutshell, I'll tell you about the journey of company. So we have created a 25 years roadmap of qSEAp, and we have divided this roadmap into 4 parts. The first part is Prarambh, which is beginning.
Okay.
So it's the first 6 years of the company. So that is the time when we actually failed a lot of ventures. We were trying to identify the heart of the company, that what exactly we have to do. Then we came up with this manpower model, manpower selling model, so that we can create some kind of cash flow, regular cash flow for the company. So that is the first part, the beginning part, where we underwent a lot of challenges. The second 6 years of the company is called as Pragati, which means progress. So after Prarambh comes Pragati. So that is the time when we got cert impaneled. We bought our own office. We got ISO 27001. We ventured into these red teaming and attack simulation activities. We pivoted from a manpower company to an entirely cybersecurity or high-end technical cybersecurity services company. So this was the second 6 years of the company, which is called as Pragati. So from 2023, we have entered into the third phase of company, which is called as Avahan. So Avahan means challenging the bigger challenge. So now we feel that we are ready to challenge the bigger players in the market. So now we are adapting ourselves. I mean, we are also changing the way we are working in our organizations. So we have stronger processes. Now we have account managers to take care of the customers. There are project managers who take continuous feedback from the consultants who are working on site. Then there is a COE and there is a research team which is continuously researching on the emerging trends of the cybersecurity. We are continuously changing our services as per the need of the customers. So a lot of things we are doing. In fact, we are trying to develop a couple of products as well, which we'll launch in a couple of years. So these all things are a part of our third phase, which is Avahan. The objective of this third phase is that we want to be among the top 5 Indian players, cybersecurity niche service providers in India. And once we feel that we have reached that level, so we feel from 2028 we will
be that stage.
We will be there. And then comes the final stage of the qSEAp, which is called as Samriddhi, which means success. So when we say Samriddhi, it means that after that we don't want to continuously work for money, because we feel that once you are among the top 5 players, you will be getting a lot of money, right? So you are already making money. So that is a time when we want to give it back to the society and country. So we think that in that stage, what we will do is we will support the young entrepreneurs on their ideas. We will invest on them. We will maybe guide them, mentor them. At the same time, we want to contribute some part of our manpower to the national security, and maybe along with CXO Junction or CyberFed, we will do something for the society as well. So that is the objective of the final phase of this is 25 years.
Amazing analogy, and I think these 4 phases sounds interesting event. I'll say that qSEAp has come a long way, and when
Yes.
we look from outside, we look you as a successful entrepreneur. But if you are defining your journey, that you still have a far
There's
to
a long
go.
way to
So
go. Yeah.
yeah, but when we look outside and how I've seen from 2011 to today, and I recall that you have already achieved success
Thank you
quite
so
over
much.
there. And I think I've seen your Pragati phase as well, where you have done and good work. In India, you have penetrated well. You're already in Asia and Middle East as well, right? So how difficult it was to manage the local regulation and compliance and learning about different regions and providing your services to the different banks of the different countries.
So basically, working in India is comparatively easier for us, right? The first thing is that we have a local presence, so sales becomes easy. Then at the same time, you meet the customers, you get a direct feedback from them, and you understand their pain areas, and you can easily modulate your services according to them. Now, going abroad was a different ball game altogether. The first thing is a logistic issue, right? You have to continuously travel. Then to understand the market, you have to, of course, you have to do a little bit of market research. You have to do a little bit of market research on the region which you are targeting. What are the norms? How easy it is that company welcoming other company players to their region or not? That is the first thing you have to understand. Then if the market is saturated, then there's no point targeting it. Then third thing is that you can do a little bit of Google research to understand the regulatory compliances, right? But how we did was we made it clear that unless until we have a continuous flow of business coming from that particular region, we'll not set up an office there, right? So we targeted the local partners. Like I told you that in India, people continuously have shortage of resources, and that is how we started our journey in India. So there is a similar problem abroad also. They continuously need people. So we redirected our 10-15% of manpower, which was really good, to different segments. For example, Saudi Arabia. Then we are doing some activities with couple of customers from Europe also. Our objective was simple, that we wanted to work on a small piece of segment in a bigger project. Once you start working in that particular region, you start understanding the pulse of the customers. So for example, we were doing for a European customer, we were doing one project. So GDPR comes in picture, right? So that was the first time while performing pen testing and while performing simple VA also, we were able to understand how GDPR comes into these segments. Then that customer was a automotive customer. They were into building automotive cars. So again, ISO 21434 is one of the standards which they were complied with. So again, that was the first exposure. So that is how you start understanding the pulse of the customers and the regulatory requirements. So that is how we penetrated the other regions market. Now we feel that we are ready to set up an office in Middle East, and we are trying to, again, you have to find a local partner for that as well. So we are continuously, Sunil was there in Black Hat Saudi recently. So that is all part of our roadmap now. Like I said, it's the Avahan, the third phase of our journey, right? So one of the objectives is that we have to establish an office in Middle East. So that is how we were able to penetrate the other regions.
Okay, awesome. In your journey, you're doing a lot of technical stuff with the red teaming and a lot. But with cybersecurity is a industry which is continuously evolving, right? So what as per qSEAp or as per you are the emerging trends in cybersecurity, and how you are looking forward to cope up with them?
Okay. So see, we look at, again, we are a services company, right? And our entire focus is to solve the problems of a CISO. And like I said, that there are some areas on which a CISO is working on, right? The biggest challenge of CISO is facing today is that if they have thousands of vulnerabilities, how do you prioritize, how do you address, how do you fix those issues, right? And I believe a lot of companies have already started working on that direction. So I believe integration of AI/ML and vulnerability management tools are the next. Definitely, it is the next thing in addressing vulnerabilities. Okay. So, for example, we are doing vulnerability management projects for some customers, right? And they are still working in traditional model. So there is a portal on which we have to upload the vulnerabilities after scanning. So, and we have a SLA that we have to scan the vulnerabilities every 6 months. So for example, the customer has around 1,000 assets. The last assessment for that customer was done in September, and today they are working on it. It's already 4 months down, right? Maybe there are some new vulnerabilities in the organization now. They're not even aware about it. So unless until there is a real-time scanning which is happening, so there are products in market already, and I believe that is the next thing. Even in vulnerability management, like VAPT is already a commodity right now, right? So the scope of improvisation is where that there has to be a real-time vulnerability assessment happening in the organization. So if I as a CISO, if I look at the dashboard of a vulnerability management portal, it should have real-time information. At least till yesterday, what was the posture of my organization, that should be there. Second is that workflow automation has to happen. So there's a lot of mails going to and fro, lot of reports are getting exchanged on mail. Then you have to manually track which person is accountable for what and are they working on it or not. For example, you scheduled a scan, a tester was supposed to finish the scan in 2 days, but they are taking 5 days and 6 days. You have to track everything manually. So workflow automation is also one area which already there are products in market, but now people have started acknowledging it as a problem and they are moving towards such products. The third thing is that prioritization of vulnerabilities, right? If I report thousands of vulnerabilities, then how do you prioritize it? So like I said, there are two things. First is CVSS, right? So now I guess integration of AI/ML is very much important. So a machine learning algorithm such as rainforest, so you teach them, you give them a lot of vulnerability data and they understand. They continuously read the data, you train them on that which is false, which is true, which is false positive, and automatically the prioritization start happening. So apart from CVSS prioritization, they have to look at red teaming and attack simulations also, so that they can understand the attack path and they have to block those paths as well. And the final part is remediation, right? So remediation is also something where a tool has to come in picture, where you are reporting all the vulnerabilities. That particular tool is integrated with your patch management solutions. That tool is integrated with your ticketing software, so that which person is accountable for addressing those vulnerabilities in what amount of time, that has also to be defined. So I believe integration of AI/ML, things like threat predictions or attack predictions are the next thing. And vulnerability management, there is a huge scope, I believe there. The real-time vulnerability feedback or real-time scanning of vulnerabilities has to be there.
Awesome, so I am very much echo what you are saying, the AI/ML in cybersecurity.
You have been a CISO yourself, so I am sure you would understand the concerns.
Quite a lot, but not in depth, like, because you are the practitioners, so that's a different game altogether. But yeah, I go with what you say. AI/ML in cybersecurity is a big way. But so I mean, the thing is, like, you are in an industry like cybersecurity, which is very stressful. Okay, so we don't know what's gonna happen, and 24/7 you need to keep updating yourself and watching what is happening, and you are working for different clienteles, and it's a very stressful job. And then again, when we talk about manpower company, then again it's very stressful. How you cope up with that stress? What do you do for that?
Yeah, so first of all, you have to avoid burnouts, right? So you're continuously working for the customers and there is always a demanding customer. And in cybersecurity, anything can happen anytime. There is an attack and you have to be on the field, right? So what I do personally is that, in fact, I suggest everybody in my company also to work in this model only, that work in cycles. Okay, avoid burnouts. So on a daily basis, if I'm working, I work in cycles. So I'll work for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, I'll take a break for 30 minutes.
Okay.
I go back to my home after 9 o'clock, my phone is on D&D, no matter what. So if somebody has an emergency, they can reach out to my wife or somebody for sure. So that is one of the ways through which I'm handling stress, and I recommend the same thing to all my people also. Second is that you have to work on your health. Mental health, physical health, both are interlinked. If you are hitting gym every day, you are doing a little bit of weight training, you are doing a little bit of yoga, you are taking care of your food, you are eating right, if you are sleeping for 7 to 8 hours, no matter what, then I believe most of the stress is taken care of. Yeah. So I believe it comes from a very, very simple things. And if you remember, when we were in school, we had a routine, right? So we used to go to bed on time. We used to get up in the morning. There was a physical activity involved, and we had tremendous pressure of scoring. There was unsaid competition also, but at the same time, we never felt stressful. Yeah, so I believe it is important that we start focusing on the basic things of life. Professional life is just one segment, one area, and handling your emotions, it's a different subject altogether, how to handle your emotions. But I believe if you start eating right, if you start going to workouts, if you start working in cycles, when I say in cycles, not just day-wise cycles, work for 3 months, take a break for 1 week or 10 days. So in my organization also, I see that I ensure that all the leaders who are working, if I see they are getting stressed out, I send them on a leave, no matter what. Even if they don't want it, there are times when I've taken my people to Goa, I don't want to take leave, but I know that this person will not go on leave. So I force them to be with me, come with me on a vacation for a 10 days. And then after, once they come back, the bonding is stronger. They feel a lot relaxed and they're able to deliver better service to the customer. So that is how we manage stress.
Okay, awesome. And what I can get out of it is the discipline is required and the right kind of food and health habits, which I have to learn a lot. Maybe I may get some inspiration from you.
There are
today.
times when you have to switch off your mobile. That's it.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So I think it's been a quite insightful discussion, Praveen. And the last segment which I have where I will ask you to talk to my audience directly, where it's like, there are many new entrepreneurs who are into the same field. They want to build their companies. So what are the experience or the learnings which you have, which you think they can avoid, and any best practices you will like to share with them?
I believe when we started company, we are from the 80s and 90s generation. So when we started company, a lot of people, our parents had a simple expectation from us that they wanted us to be engineers and doctors. There was no expectation of developing a company. But I believe now, if I see the generation now, a lot of young entrepreneurs are there. People want to become millionaires at the age of 25. So the only recommendation I have for the young generation is that don't get impatient to make it big in a very short span of time. It takes time. And just because somebody made it big at the age of 25 doesn't mean that you are a loser. So if you've started something, trust the process. If you are consistently working towards a particular goal, definitely it will come. The success will come your way if you are actually honestly working towards it. So that is one thing. Second is that you have to take care of your health. Okay, if you are healthy enough, if you can extract 10 to 12 hours of work from your body, when you are young, you can do that. But once you start getting old, after 30s, it gets difficult to continuously work for 10 years, 10 hours, 12 hours. So it is very important to be, you can say, healthy. Third is that focus on your relationships, your personal engagements as well, because that is one of the areas I believe nobody looks after that. But if you have a stable personal life, it is very easy for you to make it big or professionally grow. So that is my recommendation to the young generation.
Awesome. I think great insights, Praveen. So as per the ritual, so here you go. So
Thank you
a
so
small
much.
hamper, and I'll say thank you for being on the GB
Thank
show.
you so much.
And guys, I hope you like this episode. Stay tuned, be safe. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye bye.